Hello all. First of all, welcome to our Azure Learning YouTube channel. Specifically, in this video, we're gonna see about how we can set up a database in Azure and how we gonna access that. That is what literally today we're gonna see. So yeah, so let's get started. So I'm just going to create a resource group first. So inside of this resource group only, I'm just going to keep my resource group. So I'm just going to create a resource group like 𝗵𝗵𝗃. And then I'm just going to keep in Central India. Whenever I'm just going to create a resource means I'm just going to choose the nearest location. That would be avoid latency. So I'll just search it like Central India. So we cannot, find that much differences in another region. But when you are going to work on big resources and big things you're gonna do here means in that time you would face latency. So to avoid the latency, then that time you need to configure the CDN connectivity. So that's not recommended in this case if you are using nearest location means. Yeah, so that's it. We created the RG. So yeah, so let's go to the database SQL server creation, but this time I'm just going to create MySQL server in the Azure. Okay, so not only in Azure, not only MySQL server, here it's supporting Azure SQL. Azure SQL, it's literally a Microsoft SQL server, so you can also create that one. And Postgre, like so many database it's providing. Even NoSQL DB also here we can create. So what I'll do, I'm just going to create a MySQL server. Okay, so literally it's a platform as a service. No need to configure any DB things in the server. So we can directly create a server here. Okay, in this platform. Yeah, so it's loading. So here it's asking two options: flexible server and then WordPress plus MySQL flexible server. If you need WordPress to set up a user interface, you can use this, but in our case we are not going to take this, so go with the first one. Yeah, so yeah, choose the resource group which we created, and here I'm just going to define my server name. Our server name is going to be MySQL. And also here the important thing is your server name should be unique. MySQL server 1 2 3 something like that. SQL server RAM. So I'm just creating like this. And whenever you're gonna create a DB, take MySQL in a latest version 8.0. Don't go with 5.7. There some features are not there. So no remote connection, some things, some interesting, some new updation and all you cannot find there. And then also if you're gonna use this 5.7, which is not recommended, so we can take this 8.0 and see here, this is what our workload type. According to our requirement, we have to take this. See, small or minimum size database. So if you're gonna take that one, they are suggesting 2-core CPU, 8 GB RAM, and then 64 GB of internal storage. They are suggesting for this one. But in our case, we are not going to take this one. So what I'm gonna take this means this one only. Okay, so for development or hobby project, this one only I'm just gonna take. 1-core CPU, 2 GB RAM, and then 20 GB of internal storage is fine for me. Inside, I'm not going to perform any high-end things, so that this one we can take for a practice. And availability zone, this one you need to choose here. I'm just going to keep this in 1. But initially, if you're gonna choose no preference, Azure will keep your server into any one of the availability zone. But in today's console, we facing some issue here. Okay, so if you're gonna choose no preferences means Azure would throw error at the end of database creation. So better is we can take the availability zone. That would be okay. And then high availability. So see here what they're telling, it would give redundancy things. Okay, if I'm gonna give this one, we can get the high availability, and also it would do zone redundancy as well. Okay, by the help of zone redundancy, it would give high availability, but I'm not going to take this one for now. And see authentication method. Here some authentication methods they are suggesting. Microsoft authentication only, directory authentication only, and then both. See here, Microsoft authentication means nothing. Sorry, Microsoft Entra authentication means nothing. Our directory users, directory user credentials. By using the directory user credentials, we can access this DB. MySQL credential means nothing. Server credential, our DB server credential. So what I'll do, I'm just going to take the first one only. And then here we can define the credentials. That's it. Okay, this is what our username, and then we define the password as well. Okay, so then go next. Okay, so see public access. So here two options they are suggesting. Connectivity method. One should be private, another one should be public. Public means they cannot, they won't access, they won't expose your DB blindly to public users. So we need to define our IP literally. See, just scroll here. This is what my IP. I'm just going to add this. So 42.104.130.71. This is what my IP, system IP. You wanted to know means go there and check it. See the same IP we are getting here. And yeah, so if you wanted to connect any private endpoint, means you can add it, but there is no resource I'm having in Azure. So that I'm just going to connect my DB in my local machine only. And here the thing is, if my IP got changed, even my system also cannot access the DB. Yeah, that's it. Then go to the next one. Okay, so data encryption. Data encryption, I'm not going to perform here. Literally, this one is suggestible in organization. But if I'm going to use database encryption means, you know, I don't have any encryption key so far in my Azure. So if you has means you can take that key. So I'm just skipping this one. Okay. That's it. And then tags you guys know. Yeah. Okay. So rest all looks good. So now we can create it. This is gonna take around 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, according to your configuration. But according to the setup and then availability zone where we choose, and those factors and all would come in the creation time. So in addition to that, if you're gonna configure any default plugins while the creation means, in that time it would take some time. So literally this would take 10 to 15 minutes. So that we'll wait for it. So see, here our database got created. Okay, this is what our server name, and this is what our admin, root admin, our login name. So yeah, so let's go and configure the workbench. Okay, I already have that workbench file. So go there and download it. Its installation is very simple. Go there and you can easily find that package and you can install it simply. I already has that. So let me open that. Yeah, now it's coming here. You can find the local instance. It's our local DB. Go there and I'm just going to connect it. Okay, endpoint we added. According to the database, this you can find some variations here, but we are just going to connect our MySQL DB only. So that here I used 3306, and this is what our username, and just define the password. Okay, so I added the password and username and hostname and all. Just hit OK. So it would take some time for your credential verification. Yeah, that's it. We successfully took the remote of our DB. So now we can create any things here. Whatever the thing we gonna update here, that would reflect in Azure console itself. So see, go to the database. There you can find some DBs. MySQL information schema, these and all you finding, right? So those things and all we can find here itself. Show databases. Here itself, suggestions also they would give. So go and execute it. See, I'm just going to create one more database. Create database MyDB. That's it. Then execute this one. Our DB got created. So just refresh. You can find that MyDB. This is what we created just before. Like whatever the commands you wanted to execute inside of the DB, those things and all you can execute here. And then not only for command based creation, you can use this options as well. So for example, I'm just going to create a database using this option. My database. Okay. Just before we used one command, right? So I'm just going to apply. Okay. So create schema my database, and then I'm just going to apply. Yeah. So our database got created. My database got created. Just minimize it. If you're gonna refresh, that my database also would come over here. Like whatever the here also we can update it. Here also, if you wanted to create a new database, you can easily add it. Okay, anything is fine. And also you wanted to update anything means go to the networking and then you can update the setting at any time. If you're gonna add multiple IPs, 10 IPs, 20 IPs means those 20 people can access the DB. Otherwise, others can't access your DB. And replication, you wanted to do replication for high availability. Okay. And also people, whenever they're gonna create a database, they would log this one. Why? Because if anybody mistakenly deleted, that means that is going to be huge threat. So for that, they would log this one. Okay. So if we're gonna try to delete this means that won't work. But we need to remove this after that only. If anybody mistakenly, if L1 team got deleted mistakenly means how that is recommended. So for that people would set up this one. Yeah, I hope this video helps to you. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video, team. Yeah, thank you for today.